Okay. What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody is having a great Sunday afternoon. This is the last day of the NFL Combine, and we have been literally sucked into watching glorified workouts. I've got, of course, our Sunday afternoon stream here. We already have a couple people in here. If you are a channel member, like Young Wilson, shout out to Young Wilson. You can join into the chat. The link is in the description. Excuse me. The link is in the community tab for all you channel members. So feel free to join in, and let me say hello to. We've got a couple people up in here. What's up, everybody? I see Stacy. You are the first one up on the screen there.
Hello, everyone.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
I'm great.
Okay. You know, it's been an interesting weekend, and actually an interesting week, I will say. I think Jerry Jones has been called out on his bullshit.
Good.
Jerry Jones, it's almost fitting because Friday night literally got me to stop at my show and get a bottle and pour myself a drink, because Jerry Jones was stuck trying to get to the combine, but the bad storms that were coming through in Dallas and stuff, the high winds and everything else, prevented his plane from getting out there until Friday evening. And immediately he was in his bus and he was doing some interviews and giving the Jerry Jones hot takes and stuff.
Tyson, mute your mic.
Yeah, or you got something going on in the background that sounds like you're underwater.
Tyson has something playing. There we go.
Okay. And Jerry Jones started speaking, and literally, he praised Dak that, I've got no reason to get rid of Dak. If there was something on the field about Dak that said we need to go in another direction, I don't see that. But, Dak, everybody has to understand with the dynamics of paying yourself a great quarterback. We can't surround him with talent in the same way we did, when he was a rookie. And, that's where, see, this is the problem why we have all of these Dak Prescott haters out there. If we just got ourselves a young quarterback, we win the Super Bowl. If it weren't for Dak Prescott, we'd have the Super Bowl. And it's like, do y'all realize from 2010 to until Dak took over, we were in the playoffs one time?
Yep.
And that was back when we had, a young Dez Bryant, a healthy Dez Bryant, when we had a young Jason Witten. That's when we had the pinnacle of that offensive line.
Right.
But where the real problem is it's not because you're paying Dak Prescott. Would you believe that this year on the salary cap, as we're sitting here being, $8 million over the cap, would you believe we're still paying Lyle Collins $8.5 million? In dead money?
Their fault.
$13 million between last year and this year going to Lyle Collins, a guy who has only played 1 year in the last four for us.
That's on the Joneses. That ain't on nobody else.
But you don't get that from the Joneses. You know what? If Jerry had said, well, when you're paying Dak, and then when you have, players that are, dead money and stuff, when we decide to move on from people, we have financial problems. That's not what he did. He went on and said, I can't get talented people around because you're paying the quarterback. But here's the thing.
You know what that is, Mark.
Trying to negotiate his next contract, and Dak is the fall guy.
The Joneses know they done screwed up. The deal is they're trying to put their guilt on somebody. and
Yeah.
Dak is the target.
They try to
That's
push the
what it
blame.
boils down to.
And they know that Dak Prescott is a nice guy and he'll take it.
Yeah,
Hang on, I gotta grab something.
They
Oh,
know.
I got to grab my other piece here. You know, but with these multiple desks, I have to keep forgetting that I need to.
How's everyone doing?
Oh snap!
Wonderful. How about yourself?
Uh oh. Did I lose my? I
Fine, can't
just
complain.
lost my camera.
Yeah,
Didn't I?
same here.
Did I lose my camera?
For my boy Dak Prescott today, y'all can see.
Right.
Just got my Dak jersey in this week.
Hold on.
That's right.
Okay, there we go. Lost my camera there for a second, but
Hey, how you doing, Mark Holmes? How you doing, everybody else?
I'm doing good.
Right.
But I'm kind of ticked because here's the thing that's so crazy, okay? Because this is what we're hearing about Lamar Jackson too. That you can't build a team because you're paying the quarterback. But if you take Dak's cap hit, because that's the only number that really matters. Dak's cap numbers throughout the 7 years that he's been here, he's averaged out at only $7 million a year.
Oh, $7 million. Okay.
That's what it's averaged out. I mean, because keep in mind, his rookie year was only a $584,000 cap hit.
Right.
First 3 years under $1 million. Fourth year was $2 million. His cap number last year was $19 million.
They should have. They waited. They really waited too long to give Dak his big chunk. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
yeah.
They waited too long.
When Kirk Cousins got his, I said the Cowboys need to run, not walk, run and get his contract done before Russell Wilson got his deal done.
They should have signed.
They didn't do it
to a long 8 to 10 year deal.
Well, but nobody signed that. Nobody's going. He wasn't going to sign for that. His people wouldn't let him do that because they recognize nobody is signing ones that long. Daniel Jones, they're talking about being a 4-year deal for 160 plus.
That's definitely not worth it. But for us Cowboys fans, you want to sign him to that? I'm all right with it.
But here's the thing. But here's the thing that's crazy though. Right now, you've got Derek Carr, who the Jets are interested, the Panthers are interested, New Orleans, and they say there's 2 other teams that are also interested. He's probably going to be about 48, 49, maybe $50 million for him. Geno Smith, they're trying to work on a long-term deal, but they said, he's trying to get 40.
I don't think Geno's going to get that much good money because he's
but he again,
like a one-hit wonder in a way.
True, but what is Daniel Jones? Listen, Daniel Jones is averaging in his career 15 touchdown passes, 9 interceptions, and 10 fumbles a season. And he's talking about 48 million a year is what his asking price was.
That's way too much for Daniel Jones.
Okay, 15 touchdowns a year.
To be honest, I wouldn't pay Daniel Jones over $30 million a season, to be honest. That's just me.
But here's the thing. The thing is, the market has changed. The market is look.
But that's top quarterback money, though. He's not a top quarterback.
No, actually, you know what? I don't think that's going to be top quarterback money for long. The market continues to reset. It was only like 9 years ago that Drew Brees was the highest paid at like $16 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, Jimmy Garoppolo, I think at 24 at one point was the highest paid. Right. You had Kirk Cousins at 28 that was the highest paid. You had Matty Ice, who at 29 was the highest paid. Russell Wilson was not that long ago at 35.
Right. Mark, I can go all the way back to Flacco when he signed his $100 million contract.
Yeah.
And that was around 2013.
True. Now, as Jerry Jones is talking about, Dak Prescott, sucking up all the money, we had Tony Romo and Dez Bryant. One year was like $26 million in dead money just for Dez and Tony Romo. And Romo was 2 years of that time. We have averaged, check this out. Since 2017, we've averaged about $16 million a year dead money. Because as much as, I remember, I got to be careful because I get a lot of crap from people. You don't know what you're talking about. When I used to talk about Tyrone Crawford, I said 2 years before we finally let him go, I said, we got to let Tyrone Crawford go. How dare you? Tyrone Crawford, he's one of the team leaders out there. Everybody loves him. He does the dirty work. He can play tackle. He can play defensive end. You can't live without him. We got out of Tyrone Crawford the last 3 years. Albert Marino, shout out to you for that big super chat, $20. Damn.
Thank you for the super chat, Albert.
Listen, for the last 3 years of Tyrone Crawford, we paid him $29 million. We got 8 sacks, 29 tackles, and 6 tackles for loss for 3 years.
Not nowhere near
for $29 million. Okay?
Yeah.
Lyle Collins, like I said, $13.8 million in dead money. Even getting rid of Amari Cooper, it was $6 million dead money. Would you believe that this is where it's crazy? The Browns paid less on the cap last year for Amari Cooper than we did in dead money to not have him on the roster.
Mark, you know the old adage from the old people, you cut your nose off to spite your face, and we do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
I got a question, though.
Yeah.
Okay, it's really been just about all Cowboys fans discussions about 3 big contracts that they could probably go. You know what I'm saying? Ezekiel Elliott, he's probably number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Tyron Smith, your best ability is your availability. Hasn't played
17 games in the last 50.
And then maybe D-Law. D-Law,
you can't get rid of D-Law.
Because I think Micah Parsons like him too much.
D-Law's, you take too much dead hit.
Yeah. So
because again, and that's another one of those ones. Do we think we got value for the money that we paid D-Law?
Not for $30 million. No.
I mean, so they restructured his deal last year to get a low number, but people aren't talking about he's $27 million cap hit this year. And so, yeah, that's the second highest on our team. So when you start looking at that and saying, but to cut him, it's like $35 million in dead money. So that's one of those ones you look and say, well, he'll be around for a few more years, so let's restructure him. But this is the problem is, this is not new. This is what the Cowboys have been doing forever. You can go back to where they overpaid Marion Barber, rest his soul. But they gave him like a $54 million contract back in like 2008 after him being a part-time running back. He was not a full-time one. He shared time with, can't remember his name now, but he didn't even have a 1,000-yard season. You had guys like Jay Ratcliffe that they did that, Miles Austin, Mr. Hamstrings, who had hamstring issues for years, and they signed it to a big contract. And so what's always happened is we've had these big contracts. They don't work out. You got dead money. We restructure other contracts to go ahead and get the room and then don't have money to do stuff. But this whole thing of, we can't spend money because we're spending money on quarterbacks. Last year when the Rams won the Super Bowl, between the dead money for Jared Goff and the new money for Matthew Stafford, they spent over $40 million just for the quarterback. And they signed everybody. They went out and got Von Miller. They went out and got Odell Beckham Jr. Yes, it screwed them right now, because those guys have gotten old. But they got a ring out of it.
Right, which is worth it.
The last 3 years they've been doing that. It's been an all-in, like Tampa Bay did it, the Eagles did it.
Yeah,
the Rams
did it on a smaller scale, but they still won it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
if you have the a good team, that's the thing. It's kind of like you're baking a cake and you're not putting any icing on it.
Yeah,
and that's where we are. We're like 90% there, but you can't turn over all the positions just through the draft in one season, not unless you've got about 14 draft picks, and a lot of them are high ones. But if you think about, to me at least last year, if we had one extra really good offensive lineman, if we had a really good wide receiver, and if we had another linebacker, there's no way you can tell me that we couldn't have been in the Super Bowl.
You're right, Mark.
That's
I said
3 players. If you got 3 players, and this whole thing of, Dak's had great talent. Shout out to Space Cowboy, because he went down through the list of all the weapons that the Cowboys had. We start thinking about like Alan Hearns, and we had Cole Beasley was one of our better ones that we had.
Yeah.
We had, people, and it drives me crazy because people always say, well, Dak Prescott had Jason Witten and he had Dez Bryant. And it's like, Dez Bryant, after 2014, stayed injured.
Mark, I saw Space Cowboys video last night on what you was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That dude was so pissed off. I thought he was going to kill somebody.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Space Cowboy, shout out to, here's where I love this.
He was right. He was right.
You know what? I actually love this because I got to be careful how I say things, because I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. But that piece that Space Cowboy did, the research that he did on there, showing you all of the moves that we made, and getting rid of people and things and not replacing them, all of that stuff is as good or better than what you'll find from any writer, any newspaper, or anything like that. Because we've got this thing where, well, they're just YouTubers. They're not formally trained. They didn't go to school to be this, and I think about, huh?
Yeah, but they're here now. So
yeah, they're here now to go ahead and show us, what we're doing. But, when you think about it, Bill Gates doesn't have a degree.
No.
Richard Branson doesn't have one.
No,
right?
That's right.
There's like 35% of the billionaires in the world don't have a college degree.
That's it.
So, you guys coming in here arrogant, well, we're writers. Well, guess what? If you're doing so good, why is it that you got to come over here to YouTube? Because your platform is dying. You're a dinosaur. So don't come in here disrespecting the work that people are doing here.
Remember I said that, Mark? I said the same thing. I was saying the same thing.
Nobody's buying, used papers at home. Not many people are, So I think we all know who we're talking about. And yeah, I was annoyed with it also, but Space Cowboy hit the nail on the head. I thought he was right myself. So
well, I think for the first time though, people are really up in arms and calling out Jerry Jones bullshit on that one this week. I mean, from the you saw me. If you watched my live stream, I was just like, oh my God, I got to get the bottle. I literally, I don't like to drink on air, but that was like, I need a drink because this is the same bullshit that we've been getting. When we tried to sign Dak before, Dak Prescott's got to understand he got to leave money on the table. I don't see anybody else out there trying to leave money on the table. Daniel Jones knows that they need help, but he's still looking for $48 million a year.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. I don't see Derek Carr, who had, because I always say, well, Dak Prescott, he needs the guys around him. Well, Derek Carr, that jackass, had Devontae Adams, had Josh Jacobs, had Hunter Renfrow, and had why can't I remember the damn tight end?
Devontae Adams.
I mean, he had every piece that imaginable. And this whole thing of, well, you can't spend money. We just saw the Eagles do that, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
Didn't we? We saw Tampa Bay do that, right? So come on, man, stop bullshitting us.
In a way, it's kind of like the owners of the NFL are trying to fight raising the salary cap so hard that it's like they're literally willing to attack players' character and just all sorts of things. Because before these quarterbacks were getting all this extra money, the salary cap was set to them to make around that $20-25 million range, and they have yet to adjust.
But here's the thing. But you know what? The thing is this. It doesn't matter how much. I mean, it hurts your team in general when you have to pay the quarterback a whole bunch of money. But to turn around for Jerry Jones to say, well, because we're paying the quarterback, you paid Zeke Elliott a contract that wasn't anywhere close to what it should have been. You said we're not going to reset the market. Well, you didn't reset it. You blew it out the water.
Yep.
You blew it out the water. Okay? You turned around and you paid Jalen Smith after one good year and then decided, that's not good.
Yeah.
You've made these problems, but you know we've got. You decided to go ahead and pay Michael Gallup $13 million on $12 million a year. His cap hits $13 million this year, without knowing if he was going to be on both legs or not.
Like I said, the Joneses created this problem, and they are trying to point the finger at somebody, and they're pointing the finger at the wrong person.
And they looked back
they should be pointing the finger at themselves.
And they looked back at
this up.
Brian. What's up, Brian?
Yeah, hey, what's up, Mark? They looked back and they're starting to say, oh, well, when Dak was young or his first couple of years, they had the best offensive line. They're always trying to couch it. Okay, well, a great offensive line isn't everything. You know, you could get more than just have a great offensive line and then have a shit defense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because that's what it was. The defense couldn't stop nobody. So, you know, it's a full team. Dallas has failed since the installation of the salary cap. Yeah, they're making the most money out of any team, and they're marketing geniuses. But as far as winning in the salary cap era, they have a goose egg. So, I mean, like, why are they bringing up, oh, well, when Dak was young, he had the best offensive line. We can't just, you can do it.
Shit.
You could do it.
Lordy.
Just very frustrating. Very, very frustrating.
We've got the space invasion going on right now.
Well, what's up?
Well, the good Space Cowboy. He posted about 3 hours ago. Is there anything else Jerry or Stephen Jones said during the combine that I need to tear into that has nothing to do with Dak, Amari, or the urgency to win? I mean, Space has been going off on the Joneses, man. Space has got, you know what? Space is literally that he pulled a Chris Rock. He's pulling a Chris Rock right now. I don't know if any of y'all saw Chris Rock last night live on Netflix. That last 10 minutes, he went off on Will Smith and Jada. I mean, he went postal. That Space Cowboy right now on the Joneses, calling them out. That he's kicking ass and taking names right now. Beat Z Guy. Shout out to Beat Z Guy. It always comes back to Jerry. We're never winning a title with him. End of 30 years of failure. Jerry's out. He has to go. Shout out to you. I have to agree with that.
Jerry Jones passed his prime when it comes to being a general manager.
But here's the thing. He's sitting here. But wait a minute. It's like he was talking out of both sides of his neck. It was kind of like, I felt like they said, well, Jerry, just go say some shit. Whatever you think, Jerry, just say it. And he did, because in one breath he's talking about, well, you know, you can't surround Dak Prescott with, or you can't surround your quarterback, with a lot of talent when you're paying premium money to the quarterback. And then he's talking about, well, we love Zeke. And, when we had Zeke and we had Tony there, I felt good, but then Tony got hurt and stuff. And there's no way you could tell me that not having those two guys that you don't feel confidence. So let me see if I get this straight. If you franchise tag him and don't do Zeke, you're talking about $26 million of money going on running backs in a position where everybody is jettisoning all the big running back contracts, where there's no team that has a high price running back that's won a Super Bowl since the Cowboys with Emmitt Smith.
All right. It's been 12 years since anybody made more than $2 million as a winning Super Bowl team.
Running back.
Backs. So, that's why I'm getting a lot of flack by saying I want to move on from our running backs, but I'm just looking at our roster, who I want to bring back, what the draft is deep in. It makes a lot of sense. You cut Jordan Lewis, you let Anthony Brown go. Mm-hmm. Why? Because there's a dearth of of cornerbacks in the draft. You let Dalton Schultz go. Why? Well, we got two young ones. Plus, this is such a deep tight end draft.
Mm-hmm.
My guy Darnell Washington, you were amazed by him yesterday.
6'8" or so, 6'7", 6'8".
And let Zeke go. Maybe we can bring him back. That's possible. But let Pollard go and test the market. You telling me somebody's going to pay him $10 million a year?
Hell no.
If they are, then
after the injury.
Yeah, then good luck. I think you could let him go out and test the market, and you could probably bring him back on a 1-year deal if need be for less than 10 million. I would not franchise him because the draft is loaded with running backs. So
It is.
I don't understand why. I don't know if they're just talking. And I said this last night on our live with Phil. I said, shut up, please. Everybody, shut up, Jerry. We don't care what you have to say.
Jerry
like
Jones
you want to do
Shout
a
out
big
to
move.
my Cowboys family. That's an interesting theory. Jerry brought in Parcells to get AT&T
FYI,
Stadium
Jerry,
built.
They're set in their ways. That's why they're doing
Hey,
this.
FYI, James, OBJ is not a big move.
No.
That's
It's not.
not impressing anybody. So
No.
don't go around saying we got big moves. I'm sorry. That would be a nice move.
I don't
That
even
shit
know
ain't
that,
big.
No.
Yeah, I don't want
it's
him
not
either.
big.
I don't want OB.
It's not big.
No.
The
So
reason why
don't tell
you
me
say,
it's big.
the reason why you say it's a big move is because you know that his jersey number is going to
Gonna
bring in
sell.
money for you.
Yep.
That, and he don't have to give up
That's it.
draft compensation to go trade for an actual receiver like winning teams do. Okay.
5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I'd go for Odell 5 years ago. But
I wanted him last year until I found out he couldn't run. Now it's like, you know what I mean? When you're on a roll as a team in the middle of a season and you could see the end, you're close enough to where you could see the finish line and you're like, okay, we're here. We have 10 wins. If we add this piece, that might put us over the top. And who knows? But he wasn't healthy. So now let's fast forward to the new year. We got a whole new set of problems with free agents. And I do not want to lose certain guys to keep older running backs when there's, it just makes no sense to me. Jerry, nothing you're saying on the bus is going to help our situation. You're just, you like the lower value for our own guys and raise value for anybody that we may be interested in.
Yeah.
So
I just want players on the offense that can fit into the West Coast offense.
Thank you.
I mean,
Thank you.
you can have if they don't fit in the West Coast offense and get rid of them. That's how
I think
I
Tony
see
Pollard
it.
could, though.
Yeah.
I think Tony Pollard could, but I don't
West
know about Zeke, and I've been a big
Oh,
Zeke
no,
supporter, but I just
Zeke
don't
got the speed
know
no more, I think,
how he
so.
fits in on the West
well,
Coast
Mark
offense.
wants to play him at fullback.
No,
I wouldn't mind that.
I said that's a possibility. That's it. I said, if, look,
He was a
okay,
power
all
running
right.
back.
No,
Here was
playing,
here
but,
was no, here was my thing, and of course you say you can't disrespect him like that he should be able to go elsewhere. No, best case scenario is he's a June 1st cut, which means it costs you $5.5 million. And I say, if you take the veteran minimum and add that to that dead money and bring him back, I'm okay with that, because you say basically that's about $7 million. If you say Zeke can come back for $7 million and you may have to play fullback, you know, who knows what you may have to do. You might have to sweep floors. I don't know. But that would be a way that you'd say, okay, that's a possibility. But if you're talking about, well, we're going to restructure his deal and kick more of it down the road, because that's what it kind of sounds like. They said, we might go ahead and do something with it. Well, that's like where we're still paying $8.5 million this year to Lyle Collins.
Yeah.
I got a question.
He's going to be
How much
cut, by the
more-
way.
Who is?
More
Zeke?
guaranteed money is
Lyle.
Ezekiel Elliott
No,
has
right.
contract.
He's going to be cut. But I'm just saying that
I'm
we
sorry.
took.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, but we still on this year's cap.
No,
It's
yeah,
$8.5
I
million
know.
right now.
Yeah.
Right, for a guy who.
I agree.
So those are mistakes that the Joneses made that they are looking at and saying, "Oh, it's just Dak." It's like, come on, come clean, dude.
It's not
You know?
just Dak.
Like I said, I could respect it if you said, we are trying to get our house in order. We've made mistakes on some contracts that didn't work out. You do have to pay money to the quarterback, and Dak deserves that money because that's the market value. Then it's like, okay. But to not accept any responsibility for the mistakes you made, no, bro.
No. It's just frustrating because they're like, when I go out to dinner, if I go out to a nice steak place, I want my steak, I want the sides, I want, the onions and the fried mushrooms, and I want the baked potato. I mean, I want the whole thing. But it's like the Cowboys, they give you a steak on a plate, and that's all you're getting, man. You ain't getting shit with it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, that steak is $40 million. You got to do it yourself. The baked potato. Yeah, right. Exactly. And it's just very frustrating. I want my cake and eat it. And if that means going young in certain positions, go out and get me a number one receiver. If that means going young at some certain positions, go out and get me Bobby Wagner. Now, as you're seeing, Van Der Esch and with Donovan Wilson, they're already leaking out that they're far apart.
Yeah.
Who would know that other than the people in the room that is negotiating?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously,
we know. Out. Okay, but see, if Catboy is part of the negotiation, we know how that goes. Remember, we couldn't afford to pay the punter last year, right? That was his theory, that he was too expensive. That they went through with D-Law and said, you know what, how about $10 million for 1 year? And they just like, boy, just release me. Yeah. And with Jaron Curse, they offered him $1 million, you know, with one of the better playing safeties of the season. So it doesn't surprise me that they are far apart. But here's where you're being they're short-sighted. We looked at, and when people look at the numbers, they look to the total number of the contract, okay? Because, you know, Bobby Wagner signed a 5-year, $50 million contract with the Rams, right? But it's not really that $50 million. The way they structured it was $2.5 million the first year, $12.5 million the second year.
Yeah.
So that was only $15 million for 2 seasons, which means it was only $7.5 million a year for Bobby Wagner.
It's funny money, Mark.
You know, but you understand what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Wouldn't we have been better off having a Bobby Wagner who was 140 tackles, 6 sacks, and 2 interceptions in the middle of the field last year? Right?
Yeah.
Now,
most of that money came on that big bonus he got.
Well, but again, forget the bonus money, because see, that's where Skip Bayless, Dak Prescott got $78 million. It doesn't matter. It was a $17 million cap hit. That's the only thing that freaking matters. What is the cap number? That's the bottom line. The cap number, 17 million, 19 million. You know, the Rams spent 40 million last year on quarterback and won the Super Bowl between dead money for Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford, 40 million. And they didn't have a problem signing anybody, did they?
No.
So that's some bullshit that you're getting with the Joneses not wanting to do anything. Or
I just don't know why they're having this philosophy. It's not a winning philosophy. Why would you keep doing this?
Sometimes I wonder, is it they don't want to do it, or do they just not understand it?
Well, that's the frustrating part as a fan, because you could see what teams are doing. Nobody's saying you got to pull a Rams and just sign everybody, but you know, go out and sign a receiver. Trade. I mean, like the one move, unless Buffalo is just not going to trade him, the one move that makes the most sense is, why wouldn't you go get Diggs?
Oh my God, that's a big move.
You get him.
That's a big move.
To say, yo, you got my brother, bro. I'm going to take a little bit less.
Yeah.
I mean, is that too easy? Is that am I the only one who thinks that's now? Okay, if you guys don't like Diggs, Hopkins.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
Yeah,
and he's used to a West Coast offense also.
And I told Mark, Hopkins is actually a perfect fit for Dak, because as much as I love Dak, you know, Dak, sometimes his footwork or his mechanics are off. The ball's going to sail. You know, Hopkins' catch radius is all over the place. Now, Mark would say, Mark would say, well, his numbers are down. Okay, he's playing with help me out with
Kyler
Davis
Murray.
Mills. You know, come on. I mean, like, our offense is an elite offense, or at least it was. You know, I just think that would be a perfect fit too. But I'm not going to be picky either one. But don't tell me OBJ is a big move, because it's not. It's just not. The Bobby Wagner can be had for $6 million a year. And you could spread it out. Basically, like, do a deal where he's getting the $12 million guaranteed. Name the price on the contract. It doesn't matter. You could say, you know, $28 million. It doesn't matter. It's what's the guarantees, and you know, you could do a 3-year deal with $12 million guaranteed. Whatever, $28 million, whatever. After 2 years, he gone.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
Who would you guys rather the Cowboys add? Jim Ramsey or Bobby Wagner?
Ramsey.
Yeah, Ramsey. Yep.
I kind of would, me personally, I'd kind of say Bobby Wagner because I don't want
He's
the
just
headaches
like
and the
being-
drama of Ramsey, but that's just me.
I'll take Ramsey, man. Him and I don't care. He was a top 5 last year. People are downing him, but he was a top 5 cornerback. They don't grow on
saying,
trees, man.
If
They
we
don't
have
grow.
Trayvon Diggs and Ramsey, and they're locking out the 2 outsides, any decent linebacker core,
Right, exactly. Right.
I take Wagner because what if
I want to stop that run.
what if
That's what I want to do. I want to stop that run.
what if LVE goes somewhere else?
He's gone, I'm telling you.
And then
you think so?
everybody
We
be
can't
like,
afford him?
We
We can afford him. We're
Wagner.
not going to pay him.
Mm-hmm.
Go
Well,
ahead,
the
Thomas.
good thing about Wagner is he's not injury prone. I mean,
Right.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I'm sitting here saying I really don't care. I just want, I'm not being unrealistic that I want 2 free agents. That's not being unrealistic. Bobby Wagner isn't the best free agent linebacker out there. He's just a solid player. I want a number 1/number 2, however you want to say CD. If you bring in Stephon Diggs, you can't double them both.
That's number 1.
And then you roll into the draft after you make whatever move you're making. If you say we're going out and getting Bobby Wagner and we're not getting a number 2 receiver, well, then you need to do something because we don't have enough. Okay. But at least we'll know that going into the draft. You know what I mean?
Go ahead, my bad.
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
No, okay. I think we all can agree that, last year and prior last year, Michael Gallup was a number like a low number 1, high number 2 receiver. What is he right now? Gallup.
A 3.
I think a 3?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say right now he's a 3 until he proves otherwise. He has to prove that he's 100% back. He has too many games where he has 1 or 2 balls. That's just it. I mean, he'll make some great plays. You know that. He's the guy who does the sideline toe tap, makes the unbelievable catch, but he goes for stretches where he's invisible. And I don't know whether that's his fault or whether that's the offense or that. I don't know, but I just know CD, you saw after that drop early in the year last year.
Versus New York.
He dropped the hammer and he went on a run that I haven't seen in a long time as far as receivers. He was dominant.
I'm gonna be honest though. He really made up. He really showed me after that drop that he's in because, he just made a couple of just like, oh my God, type plays. It's like, man, it's like we really got a number 1. And whenever he was smiling after he dropped that ball, in his mind, he's thinking that ain't happening again.
These guys are so talented, especially a guy like CD, that it doesn't take much to drop a ball. He's already caught the ball in his mind, and he's turning upfield, and he's making a move. Because that's one thing about CD is the rack, man. Like run after catch. That's why I said a guy like Hopkins would be perfect. As much as I like Diggs, I think Hopkins fits actually better. But, I just want somebody. I really do. OBJ is going to be a huge question mark. We already got that with the Gallup. So
I don't think there's a chance we even get Odell.
I think that's who we're getting. I honestly
think we
do.
are
I think they're putting all their eggs in one.
Well, everyone has to agree to a contract. And there's no way in hell that any Cowboys fan, period, could think that he's worth $20 million a year.
What I would say though, you got to just realize this, though. Anybody that has a lot of money isn't a good team. So you think Odell wants to go and not win? I think he wants to win. I think he wants to get paid too, but there is a happy medium. Now you see teams like the Eagles. You see other teams where they're going to be paying their quarterback over $50 million.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden changes the game when it comes to signing guys like Odell. You really got to watch what you're doing. And we do too. I just don't like what they're saying as far as allotting money to positions where We need certain people back. I'm sorry. We need certain people back. We could afford to let Dalton Schultz go, but not to get into every name. But there's some guys we need to have back.
Yeah, but and when you're sitting here talking about 20 possibly plus $1 million for running backs,
not gonna happen.
That's crazy.
It's not.
Much.
You know, I challenge, you know, because, you know, we think about some of the big contracts, you know, like Alvin Kamara. They win a Super Bowl with him? Todd Gurley?
Not even close.
Todd Gurley?
No.
Isaiah
Pacheco, his family lives 20 minutes from me. He was a 7th-round draft pick. That's who won the Super Bowl this year.
Adrian Peterson?
Look at the Eagles running backs. They were on rookie contracts.
Derrick Henry?
No.
Christian McCaffrey when he was with the Panthers?
So if we know this, why does Jerry want to keep our guys so bad? Is it to sell jerseys? He could sell new jerseys.
And we're talking about not a 1,500-yard running back anymore. We're talking about a guy who's not getting 1,000 yards.
Really 1,000, right? And that's with an extra game.
Yeah, and
1,000 yards isn't very impressive these days. You better get it.
This is, I hate to say it, but this is like Marion Barber all over again, where we valued Marion Barber, $45 million contract for him. I think it was out of the league 2 years later.
Have Zeke back on a $6-7 million 1-year deal and let Pollard go and draft a young stud. I would rather do that because then you got your short yardage guy, the young stud, whether it's Jahmyr Gibbs, you name it. There's a half a dozen. We can get one of them.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm looking at these running backs right now on the combine.
So you could get one of them.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Not to mention we got Davis already in the fold.
Well, you're better off to me. Okay, it's the chicken or the egg. Are you better off having a great running back and a shitty offensive line, or are you better off having a great offensive line and an average running back?
Yep.
Or a young running back who's not beat to hell.
I agree, man. I'm hoping they're just throwing smoke, but my fear is they're not. My fear is they're out of touch and they think that everybody's going to be excited with OBJ and we're going to be excited to bring back Pollard and Zeke.
You know, sometimes
and I love them both. Nothing personal, man, but I want to win as a team, and that's not the way we're going to do it.
You know, sometimes success can be a detriment to success.
Money success? Or
well, no. Think about it, though, because last year, what the Cowboys did, you know, we got rid of Amari Cooper, you know, we didn't re-sign Cedric Wilson, we got rid of, dead weight, and guess what? We won a playoff game. We're doing the right thing. We looked at all those other teams aside, all those free agents and stuff, and you know they failed. So we're doing the right thing. We're close. We're close. We just got to tweak it a little bit.
You saw what happened as soon as we won our playoff game, and then we lost the following week.
Yeah.
Now we haven't won a divisional round game in.
Yeah, but here's the problem. Here's the problem. Go back to the Jerry interview. You know, unfortunately, one play changed the whole complexion of the team. Once Tony got hurt, you know, that was really it. So we bring back Tony and we have Zeke Elliott. You know, I'm confident because of those guys right there. So it was like, wait a minute. You're sitting here now. You're sitting here now saying that we were right. It was just the injury to Tony Pollard was the reason why we didn't go to the Super Bowl, instead of looking and saying we need more around the team. You need that icing on the cake.
Tell me if I'm wrong, Mark, and I agree with you, and anybody else. You tell me this. How come the Dallas Cowboys are the only team in the league where if they have an injury, we can't recover from it? Now,
because we spend so much money on our front line guys. This is the same thing. You could go back when we had Tony Romo, Des Bryant, DeMarcus Ware.
Coaches not knowing how to think on the fly and change shit up. I mean, look what the Niners.
No.
Look what the Niners did, Mark. Look what the Niners did.
I understand what the Niners did, but listen,
quarterback, and they were winning games.
But see, other teams understand depth. And see, we spend so much money on our frontline people. Because I remember when the salary cap was only like $178 million, we had like 8 guys that were half of the salary cap. Between DeMarcus Ware, Des Bryant, Tony Romo, Jason Witten and stuff, right? So the problem is when you spend so much money on the top level and then you end up having $15 or $26 million in dead money, then that means those guys that are down there.
This year, Mark, we were a deep team.
Were we? Look at our offensive. Hold it. No. Look at our offensive line.
Our third and our fourth cornerback, and we
got four. That wasn't because we went out and spent money. That was because we actually had some people that could evaluate talent. But look at our offensive line.
Well,
we don't.
Tyron got hurt again. You got our fourth or fifth round pick? Well, Let's Go got hurt.
Okay, so we're looking. So here we go.
But I'm just saying,
our depth is a fourth round or fifth round draft pick rookie.
There's only one thing that happened last year that was good, and that was that Cooper Rush didn't lose us any games.
Yes, but here's the problem.
Afloat, and
here's the problem. For it. You've got to have at least competent people that actually have some experience. And when we lose that front line guy, kind of like when we lost Tyron Smith and we had Chaz Green come in, you're going from a premier player to a guy that's either got no experience or is subpar. And we go through and listen, we go through and we sign some guys that are subpar and say they're going to be a starter.
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, on one hand, yeah, you're right, Mark, but then also the coaching. I mean, let's just look at the Saints when Drew Brees got hurt, how well Bridgewater came in and played because he got coached up real well. So
it just seems like we got excuses, man.
Well, we got excuses, but to me, bottom line is you still got to have players. And see the difference of what happened to us. Okay, no, but take the Eagles, for example. Their number one pick, Jordan Davis, gets hurt. What do? They went out. First they signed Robert Quinn. That didn't work out. That's the only move that they made. And then they went out and got Dominican Sue.
And Linval Joseph.
And right. Okay.
Not one, they got two guys.
Exactly. What do we do when we lose people?
I agree with that. I agree.
Cheap.
Okay, we went into the season at linebacker knowing that we were short, and we waited till the end of training camp to get a guy who's coming back from an ACL. That's how we address it. We're always going to the scratch and dent pile to go ahead and just say, we just need a body. Just get me anybody. Yeah. And we could have had Bobby Wagner. We could have had Bobby Wagner.
Minute, they wait around and they just try to see who they can get on the low. I mean,
they try to hit a home run pinch hitter.
Coach Terrence, hold on. Coach Terrence, Mark, Jerry is right. Dak is strapping the Cowboys. Do I even want to respond to Coach Terrence?
As soon as the player becomes available, they should be doing the diligence to try to sign them. They shouldn't be sitting back waiting to say, well,
you know what?
How much we can
and James, I think that the Dallas Cowboys are way too high on their own draft picks. I'm sorry, but I think they just think everybody they have is awesome.
They think everyone's going to be hit.
They're going to give them every opportunity. Listen, man, sometimes you got to go. If you're not producing now.
Look at the success that we've had as a team with draft picks.
Oh, my goodness.
Right.
Randy, where you been, dog?
I'm right here. But that's why, because we've been so successful with draft picks. That's why they do that. Because, hey, we're the best in the league when drafting, thanks to Will McClay. So,
again, you get success. Your success keeps you from being successful. So that's where they figured that, we can just draft Jalen Tolbert. He's going to be our starter, and we're good to go.
How many did he have last?
How many what?
How many matches did he have last year, Jalen Tolbert?
Not many.
I know he had one offside.
He had a few penalties.
He didn't play. He played on a couple of games last
year.
Yeah,
that was.
Yeah, he couldn't get on the field.
He was overwhelmed mentally. And
Coach Terrence, hold on. Coach Terrence, C.J. Stroud. I don't think if you see C.J. Stroud when he's not under pressure, he's good. But guess what? When he's under pressure, he's one of the worst.
I know. I follow the Buckeyes, so he's
hot and cold.
Enormous.
Cowboys he is elite, and Dak is. You know, I'll tell you what, Coach Terrence.
I mean, if he gets blitzed,
Coach Terrence, you're new here, aren't you? Coach Terrence.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Okay.
Welcome, Coach Stan.
So, all right. So if you're here bashing Dak today, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because this is bashing Jerry Jones and his bullshit. Okay.
We're lighting them up, people. Anybody?
This is Jerry Jones' bullshit. Because I'm sitting here looking around, and all of a sudden, the whole Derek Carr love fest that's going on here. The whole Derek Carr. Does anybody out there think Derek Carr is a great quarterback?
He's good.
Is he?
He's decent.
Averages 24 touchdowns and 14 interceptions a year.
He's not good.
I know somebody won a Super Bowl throwing 24 touchdowns, only a few picks a year.
Well, that was Russell Wilson with the #1 defense. But hold on. It's not like he didn't have some of the best talent as far as weapons go.
Yeah, everybody has to.
Okay, so
you don't win without talent.
First of all, well, apparently he didn't win with talent because look at the people he had this past year. Give me that for Dak, and then let's have a discussion of Dak is elite or not.
We rely too much on the draft. The draft needs to be supplemented by. I'm not telling you go out and get me the best. 2 or 3 blue chip free agents every year. But if you see an opportunity, there's nothing wrong with looking at what the Eagles did and trying to replicate it. There's nothing wrong with that. The smart people in the world look at somebody else who's successful and say, what makes them successful? What did they do to get whatever they wanted to get?
We need good veterans.
Okay.
No,
I mean, look at the
ain't nothing wrong with it because you saw Tampa Bay do it.
And I'm not just saying
done it.
You saw.
As a matter of fact, Philadelphia did it twice.
You saw, and that's sad. Isn't that sad that the Eagles drafted Wentz? He was a shit show. They've already recovered.
Paid $32 million in dead money for him.
Been to the Super Bowl again.
Let me say this real quick, y'all. You really don't have to blow up much for a receiver that we need right now. Now we need a couple other pieces, but I think we were really the receiver away from going to the big game.
Yeah, we're not that far away.
Two receivers right now. Stephon Diggs, he's worth like a first and maybe like a third round pick.
He's a
Hopkins,
yeah.
They want a third round pick for him, right? Second or third. That's not blowing up anything.
No,
that's not blowing up nothing.
No.
You still rest in the draft.
Don't you think that's better?
With the positions that we need, a cornerback and another running back, you can get them for the third, fourth,
now,
third, fourth, and fifth round.
Yeah. Now, wouldn't you feel good about that with a rookie stud running back? Wouldn't you? Yeah. All right.
Wow.
Well, let me throw this out there. Okay, we could bring back Pollard, we could bring back Zeke, and we could leave everything else as is. Maybe go out and get, I don't know, a low end, how we normally do with the free agents. Or we could let Zeke and Pollard go, maybe bring Zeke back, let them go. Schultz is gone. And then go out and get a stud receiver and maybe Bobby Wagner. Now you tell me you can go into the draft not worried about receiver because you got Tolbert who's going to be, he's up and coming. You are fine with receiver. You don't have to draft another receiver. We got plenty of receivers, but we don't have high-end receivers. You can concentrate on the O-line, running back, tight end, cornerback. That's what I would want to do. D-line. They're going to re-sign Zeke and Pollard.
Okay, so look at this.
Everybody's
saying that we need to follow the Eagles' game plan. But if you look in the past, when we got Dion and we got Charles Haley, what happened? We won the Super Bowl. We've done it.
Won 3 with Charles.
Charles Haley was a big part on our defense.
That was pre-salary cap. Just remember that.
I understand, but we got Dion. That was one player at that time.
Yeah.
So we've done that. We went and got the high-priced free agent that actually put us over the hill.
Yeah, we need to.
Right, but now they're afraid to do it because they don't pay out them big.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I want one real big guy. Whether I would say receiver, or listen, if you're going to tell me that we're going to get the Bobby Wagner and Jalen Ramsey and we're not going to address the receiver situation, well, then that's fine. Now I could go in the draft and go after the best receiver in the draft or something like that. That's what I would want to do. But I don't like bringing back all of our guys and then what? I just don't like how they're going about it. But as of now, it's all talk. That doesn't mean they're going to do it. Who knows? Maybe it's all smokescreen.
Or maybe it's just Jerry Joe's just stirring the shit up and just playing with our emotions. Or maybe it's just that they've gotten to the point where they say, "Okay, Grandpa, go have fun. Just say whatever you want to. We're going to go over here and do some work."
Jerry, I don't think they listen to him anymore, honestly. I think he just wants to be the guy, but I don't think he has. I honestly don't think that he has much to say in that room. I think Stephen will put him in his place. Not that that's a good or bad thing, but Jerry's he's gone, man. He's the Al Davis, late years Al Davis at this point. He's in his own world.
He really is.
He just wants to stay relevant.
Yeah, there you go.
When he was literally saying, Dak, and how many years has he been in here? And I was like, wait a minute, you're not. That's kind of like
all that started with the Johnny Manziel draft.
So here's an interesting one now. I'm seeing all these ratings. I think CBS today was one of them, where they had Daniel Jones as the number 10 quarterback. And Dak Prescott's not in the top 10.
That's way off.
Yeah, that's so.
Daniel Jones, who's averaged 15 TDs, 9 interceptions, and 11 fumbles a year.
And a 17-game season or 16-game season. Not good.
Yes. So now, and has never actually beat the Cowboys with Dak Prescott, but he's better than Dak Prescott.
Who's saying he's better? Oh wait, who rated him?
That was a CBS Sports rank. I'm just saying that, and of course we've got people like Coach Terrence or whoever he is, that Dak is not elite, and Dak's a bum, and Dak is, the way Jerry puts this thing across. If you were an alien that was just dropped off here, you'd look at it and say, "Well, if the Cowboys just got rid of Dak Prescott, they'd win the Super Bowl every year." That's honestly the way that it sounds when you listen to the Cowboys. I mean, from Jerry and the Talking Heads. Am I wrong?
No.
I'm sitting here with teams like the Panthers, the Jets, and the Saints that are all, going goo goo gaga over Derek Carr. He ain't winning the Super Bowl with you guys. Sorry. It's not.
Here's the deal. If we keep farting around, fiddle farting around, we're going to waste more careers. We're not going to win a Super Bowl. If we don't go out and get a number 1 receiver, or we don't go out and get, it's not going to happen. And then we're going to say, well, Dak Prescott didn't get the job done. Tony Romo was good enough to win a Super Bowl. We just didn't have, we had a shit defense, and the offensive line was hit or miss, And
the coaching was piss poor.
Yeah, and Aikman, he came in. Aikman had studs around him.
Number 1 defense.
Everybody forgets how good our defense was. It was a no-name defense, but we were great, So it takes a whole team. So I'm just disappointed in this franchise right now. Until they do something, I'm not going to change my stance. I'm just not.
They also had a great offensive line then too.
Probably
Jerry's saying that we had one, and Dak basically didn't get the job done. We had that's what he said the other day. Oh, well, when Dak was a rookie, or like Dak's first couple years, we had a great offensive line. Okay, so what are you saying?
We had that great offensive. We had that great offensive line in 2014.
Because the way Dak played,
we had that great offensive line in 2015, and how many games did we win?
I mean, when Dak played against Aaron in the Green Bay game, the catch. I mean, he couldn't have played any better.
Mean Mug, the way you get to be part of the call is if you are a channel member, the link is in the community tab. So channel members are allowed to be in on the Zoom call. That's the way it works on Sundays. Bitch Fest, and we are bitching today.
I hate
Big
to
time.
be bitching too, but our team just doesn't do nothing proactively. They string us along. You know, I used to love the days. Every once in a while, I want to be in the headlines for something good. You know, I kind of miss the days of sometimes it didn't work out, but I miss Dallas Cowboys go out and get so and so.
Oh man, have the excitement.
It's just nice every once in a while, and it's been so long since we've been that team. Now it's Dallas Cowboys think OBJ is the second coming. He's coming off a back-to-back, reconstructive knee surgeries. That's not impressive, Jerry. Just shut your mouth. You're making yourself look stupid. It's not impressive.
And no draft compensation. Of course, he's gonna look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you said what I said earlier. That's why they love him so much, because they can make their picks. Hey, listen, those picks aren't going to win you a Super Bowl. It's going to be whoever you go out and add to them picks.
Yeah.
You know, like a Von Miller or whoever.
Let's say this real quick, y'all.
What's up?
If the Dallas Cowboys close out and sign Odell Beckham Jr., that's going to set us back into 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, because if he snaps that knee again.
Oh, man.
Well, I wouldn't say 5 to 10, but I would say I would say a couple years, because they ain't giving him anything.
No, probably
they're not giving him ridiculous money, but you know.
Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is that.
You think You think he's going to settle for $15 million a year?
Probably not.
That's
money.
Who's bidding against us?
Jerry is bidding against
you.
Himself,
Watch.
if you ask me.
Okay, he's not going to take less than Michael Gallup.
Where's he going to go? Carolina?
Somebody will pay him.
Well, somebody will pay him. Yeah.
Well, it ain't going to be me if it's $20 million a year, so you can forget it. I'll take Hopkins at 19 and 14 and have him for the next 2 years. That's what Hopkins is making. You know what I mean? He's not making that much.
And you could probably get him for a
What I think about Juju Schuster-Smith?
No, he can. He's a loose cannon. Juju, dude, man, his TikTok is blowing up. It's about it. He was just on. Holmes make anybody look good.
Hey, though, I would pick him up just to let him piss off the Eagles a little bit.
I like that though. Yeah, AJ Brown. AJ Brown's getting ready to take him out though.
Yeah.
Oh, AJ Brown is pissed at Juju Smith. Juju for real.
This is what kills me, because when Jerry talked about last year, if I could just write a check for any amount and win the Super Bowl, I'd write that check. And he said that one a couple of times, and this was one of the ones that really just kind of just made me want to throw up. Okay, don't dismiss us doing something special with the right veteran free agent at any place. I wouldn't a New York minute if I think that fits a lot of what we're doing. I'm sitting here talking about it. If it fits more than the short-term situation for us.
That sounds like just like we said whenever
Double
he said
talk.
he was going to put Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Bullshit.
Jesus. It's that kind of thing that, coming from, a fan like I am, is just be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it don't got to the point now that I don't listen to Skeletor anymore. That's what I call Jerry Jones, Skeletor. I don't, he teases everybody. He's sitting here, he talk crazy.
He thinks we care what he says anymore.
Well, he sure triggers me, damn it. Okay.
Well, it's good for business, I get it, but we don't care what Jerry thinks anymore. It's been 28 years since we won anything. Win something, then we'll listen to you.
Right.
Thomas is absolutely right.
Okay. I'm going to ask another. Okay, let me ask another question here. As we're looking at money-wise, if we're to believe that the Terrence Steele is ahead of recovery and could be ready for training camp, do we still bring back Tyron Smith?
No.
And it's $17 million.
You have to.
You have
Nope.
to. You have to.
Don't.
You got to.
Rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Are we safe with him?
Sorry.
He didn't even make it to the beginning of the season.
Play good. at right tackle at the end of the
Bring back
year.
Tyron.
Too much of a cap.
Don't bring back Tyron, and Terrence have these issues. Everybody on YouTube will be saying, "Oh man, we should never got rid of Tyron Smith."
But he didn't play good down the stretch, man. He did not play good on the right side.
Else we had.
Well, you know,
it
with
is
the
what it
10
is,
million,
man.
with the 10 million you save, you could bring in somebody younger.
That's what I was saying. You know, we always get caught up. I understand what everybody's saying, and I was at that point, but I'm past that point. We keep giving Tyron an opportunity. We're not. So what? Are you saying that we should bring him to play left tackle? That would be a mistake, right? We all agree there, right? So where are we playing him? Just as a backup?
No, as a swing tackle.
Yeah, okay.
So we're going to spend $17 million for a swing tackle?
Right. Well,
Think about it.
Bring in a rookie.
it is when we're trying to.
No, how about this? Okay, how about this? You end up cutting Zeke and Tyron Smith both, making them June 1st cuts.
Right.
And you go out and you get a great offensive lineman for $20 million. How about that?
That would work.
Okay, get me a legitimate left guard, okay, or something, okay, and still probably have change left over.
Let's just say this real quick though, y'all. So, okay, Tyron Smith is a $17 million cap hit for next season, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What could you fix on a team by letting one player that's making $17 million, go?
You could probably fill 3 positions with that.
But he still got that money on the cap.
No, he would end up.
You can't
Okay.
stretch him out. That's the problem. You can't stretch that out.
Well, the problem
You have
is
to cut
you
him.
pay me now or pay me later. It's again Lyle Collins all over,
Right,
where
we
we're
got-
paying $8.5 million this year.
You guys know, though. You guys know that we have too much that we need to do. So we can't be paying people later because we're going to have Diggs, we're going to have CD, we're going to have Micah Parsons who's going to set the record for linebackers. So
Okay, okay. How about this hypothetically? Hypothetically, you keep Tyron Smith, or you keep Donovan Wilson and Leighton Vander Esch.
I keep the latter.
Exactly. So right now we're looking at those two guys and not having the money to pay them. So which one?
That's what I'm saying. When you start like Mark, you're starting Mark's starting to form things, and it's actually making our decision for us. Do I want Tyron back as a swing tackle? Yes. Do I think we can afford him, knowing everything else we have to deal with?
Yeah.
I don't. That's all. I mean, it's really a choice. I mean, I feel like I want to free up as much money, and I want to attack our draft with the positions that are deep in the draft. Cornerback, tight end, and running back is deep as hell in the draft. Everything else you try and fill in. That's all. But that's just,
And that's what you have to look at with it's not just bringing back Zeke. It's bringing back Zeke. What can you not bring back then instead? So when Jerry talks about saying, we want Tyron back, we want Zeke to come back, we're going to get Tony Pollard. All of a sudden now, if you don't restructure them, and restructuring means we're just going to end up getting sucked on for longer, because right now we're still sucked right now on D-Law. D-Law is $26 million because we went on the cheap last year, and he's a $35 million hit. Do we think that we've gotten value for DeMarcus Lawrence over the years for what he's been paid?
Probably not, but he's a good ball player.
He's a good ball player, but he's $26 million cap hit this year. So you end up restructuring him again. How many more years can we continue to keep restructuring him?
Okay, so then you look at the Amari Cooper trade, where he had his compensation for what he was getting paid was legit.
Yeah. But
so they got rid of him anyway.
They got rid of him, but now that would have been a guy that you could have looked at and said, okay, we're going to restructure him for one more year and get some cap on it, because you still spent $6 million to get rid of him.
You know what, y'all? Let's say this, though. I think Deshaun Watson is a good quarterback, and I think Cleveland is going to be up for long.
You got a terrible mic.
And I think Deshaun Watson didn't have enough time to get legs under him, and get you the system. But I think Cleveland's going to problem him, and that's just one person really screwed up,
I actually think the other way on that one because there's certain places that
got it in his blood to disagree.
Well, no, it's kind of like Washington. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is going to Washington; they're going to fail. It's just and I think Cleveland is that way.
Yeah, they are. They both are.
I think the only thing that's going to change Washington's fate
is new owners.
New ownership. I think they would need a whole sweeping new wave. Like if Beyonce and Jay-Z and Bezos take over the team, that would start a new stadium downtown again where RFK was. All that would go into changing the culture. As it is now, it's where the quarterbacks go to die. Right now, that can change, but it takes a lot. What's up, Michael?
Hey.
How are you?
How you doing today, man?
Doing great.
We're having a good spirited conversation. We're hoping that all this noise we're hearing out of the Cowboys front office is just a smoke screen and they're actually going to do something good. But we'll see.
I think it's really I think it's actually a smoke screen.
I hope you're right, man.
Because we're not getting C.J. Stroud because Ohio State quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's just a waste of.
That's a waste of air.
Yeah, I never thought that. That was Mike Fisher running his mouth, and now he's taking a hit for it. So.
And then you also got on the comment section the guys that hate Dak are like, oh, let's get C.J. Stroud. The same guys that want Dak gone, they're going to be screaming to get rid of C.J. Stroud and asking for another quarterback to take his place.
Honestly, I think those people aren't even Cowboys fans. They're probably NFC East rival teams who don't want Dak because all he does is beat you. Sorry, that's true. He owns the NFC
you got
East.
A couple of guys, the ones that hate Dak, are saying like, "Oh, you guys are not real Cowboy fans; you're only Dak fans."
Yeah,
and it's like, please, we were here before Dak. We'll be here.
That's the one rumor I don't even. That's laughable to me. That's like somebody trolling, and we're all taking the bait and talking about it more than we really should. Okay, we'll talk about it, but it was a joke. It ain't happening.
Yeah.
CJ, I'm glad you want to come to the Cowboys.
Are intrigued by. See, come on, it's like, dude.
Yeah.
And I loved how he doubled down on that. If you knew who told me that one, you'd be like, come on, look, let it go.
I mean, because we got a lot of holes that need to be filled. Most likely in the offense, the defense is like we got a few holes there, but we could probably just plug some in there. But mainly, we got to focus on the offensive line, and we also got to
wide receiver
have a backup for Zach Martin because he's getting up there in years too.
Brandon Katz in the chat has a good point. I don't know what he means as far as Dak, but I just see Burrow has no offensive line. Stop. Yeah, I agree, but Burrow has a lot of weapons, man, on offense.
Yeah, 3 receivers.
And he's the type of quarterback where I think it's more like we're going to go to. I don't know that they run a West Coast, but he doesn't sit back and hold the ball that much. He's getting the ball out, and that's the one thing. Hey, Mr. Cowboy, when you're not talking, you got to mute, man. You got a lot of background noise.
But the thing on Joe Burrow,
Thanks,
he needs an offensive line to protect him. You give him an offensive line, he will be golden.
Yeah,
Dallas DB for life. Shout out to you being a new subscriber. As long as Jerry Jones, the owner and GM, nothing will ever change. And for fans that trash Dak, well, if we get another quarterback, you'll be blaming him for the next 4 years. You're right about that. At some point,
far away.
I would almost want to. If you're Dak chose the company line. Dak literally just takes all the bullshit and just brushes it off. And he is the punching bag for them. At some point, you want to.
At this point, Mark, I think at this point, don't you want to hear Dak say, no, I want you to go out? I think Dak has a lot of leverage right now. And I think him being a company guy, and I'll be nice with, I'll just use that line because I've heard other things from other players regarding Dak, but I'll be nice. He's a company guy. But right now, we don't need a company guy. We need a guy who comes out and says, I need to get me another weapon to help CeeDee Lamb. I want to win a Super Bowl, and I'm looking around, and I'm seeing the teams that get there, for the most part, are stacked. The Niners were rolling, doing well, yet they still went out and got Christian McCaffrey. Did they have to? No, but they did it to add to an already potent offense,
right?
And it helped out because the receiver got hurt coming down the stretch, and they had McCaffrey to lean on. So, I would like Dak to come out and say, "Go get me somebody." What are they going to say? No, I'm going to say, "Well, okay." Maybe if Dak put a little pressure on the front office, maybe they would be in a bind. But he's so nice that they can do what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it'd be nice to say, "Go get me somebody." You don't have to name a name. Why are we bottom? I'll be like, why are we trying to throw the ball 8, 9, 10 times in a game to Noah Brown?
Oh God,
you know what I mean?
Clifford Franklin.
Noah Brown could have been like a Cedric Wilson, kind of get it to him when you least expect it, kind of guy, maybe like 3 targets a game or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you get down to the end, when you get down to the end of the last 4 teams alive, you get down to the divisional rounds, they're going to take your number 1 receiver away.
Mm-hmm.
They just are. And I don't know who that team is, but those 4 teams, that's what they do. They take your go-to away. So now you need to come up with somebody else. We didn't have that answer. And you're right. When Pollard got hurt, that totally shut us down because we had no number 2 receiver who could get open.
And
on
Zeke
a regular,
was just done.
And Pollard got hurt, who was kind of filling in for that spot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I'm saying, man. It's like it's easy to me. I could see a path for us. I could see a path. I would love to have won with Zeke, man. I love Zeke. I'm a running back guy. I love Zeke Elliott. It didn't happen. I love Pollard. He's a talented guy. It didn't happen. Now we got to go get Young.
Yep.
That's all.
This worked for y'all.
Say that again.
Let me say this real quick.
Your mic is terrible.
My mic is bad again?
Yeah. It's just like, yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
I think we should do this.
Yeah, it's just not.
Tony go. And next year, let Zeke go also and try to find that replacement running back.
You're just delaying the inevitable with Zeke. Zeke is at a point where he's breaking down and his numbers are getting worse. At this point, again, I appreciate that everybody loves. I love Zeke. I do, but we're at a point of we can't have bad running backs and bad offensive line. And unfortunately, running backs, it sucks if you are an NFL running back because you're going to get screwed. Most of them are never going to see that bag of money. You're going to be picked later in the draft, which means you're, like Alfred Morris. He got, a couple 1,000-yard season at Washington under $1 million. His big contract was signing with us for like $1.5 million. But unfortunately, you're having an expensive running back is prohibiting you from winning. It's keeping you from having other players in other positions. Basically, what Jerry is saying about the money we're spending on Dak, well, that's also true when you spend it on D-Law. That's also true when you spend it on dead money. That's also true when you spend it on a running back. If we couldn't win a Super Bowl with Zeke getting 1,500 yards, how do we think we're going to win one with him getting half of that and more money?
Are we also still paying Jalen Smith as well too?
No, he's finally off. We're still playing Lyle Collins. Actually, this year is one of the least ones that we're having. We only have $9 million in dead money because it's just Lyle Collins. But yeah, we paid Jalen Smith, I think, $6 million last year on dead money.
When we paid Jalen Smith all that money, I'm all like, we shouldn't have done that.
We paid him early after one really good year. They rolled the dice and said, he's going to be our linebacker for years to come. And see, this is where sometimes you can be penny wise and pound foolish.
Yeah, they rolled the dice because they wanted to get a bargain. They wanted to get him early, which I can't hammer them on that. They tried to do it, didn't work out, but they don't do it on it just seems like the obvious guys they won't do it on. Like CeeDee Lamb.
What if the Cowboys how about this? What if the Cowboys had what year was he was Van Der Esch was 2018, right?
Yeah.
2018, when I had DeMario Davis sitting right here, and I said, this is the guy I would love to have for a linebacker for the Cowboys. He was a free agent from the Jets, right? We drafted Van Der Esch. What if instead of drafting Van Der Esch in the first round, we had gotten a wide receiver or something, or a different playmaker, and we had paid somebody like that who has not missed a single game in those 5 years? A guy who's averaging like 120 tackles and like 5 sacks a year. That's the thing that you have to understand. It's not what a thing cost. It's what can that money bring me in. See, I'll go through and I'll spend money on tools. I spent, $10,000 and still paying for it for that Inventables. And you look at it and say, oh my God, that's a lot of money. But the things that it can do and produce will pay for itself. The Cowboys will look at it and say, we're only going to look at the bottom line number. Safety is not a valuable position to us, so we're going to look for something cheap. Defensive tackles, we don't believe in those guys. We're just going to get something cheap in there, okay? We take, cornerbacks and wide receivers and running backs. We value those guys, and we'll pay them a whole bunch of money. But the real positions that end up being the ones that you win with, they don't value. They don't sell jerseys. So why do I want to get a great defensive tackle that's going to help me win? It's not making me any money.
Yeah.
Am I crazy or just plain stupid?
No. I feel the same way, man. It's I really hope that it's different. It's going to be different from last off season. It was a struggle last off season. You remember? And we were like every week it was a bitch fest, and then they did a couple moves at the end, and it was like, oh my God, they did something. So and they had a good year, but I think we saw the glaring needs. Yeah, I don't know what this West Coast is going to bring, what version of it they're going to do. I think it's not going to be your traditional West Coast. They're going to try and run the ball a lot. So we better get some more linemen. That's all, that's all I could say, And now I'm hearing that Van Der Esch and Donovan Wilson
are gone.
It's not going good. Yeah. Okay, so they're gone.
God, now I'm really sick. So
why? What happened?
I was just looking at DeMario Davis's numbers.
Yeah, he
Well, no, in 2020 his cap hit was 5.8. 2021 it was 6.9. 2022 was 5.8. This year it's 7.6.
I got a question, y'all.
Could you imagine if we had him?
Donovan Wilson.
Oh, fuck.
Donovan Wilson. If we can't keep both of them, which one?
No, I'll take Donovan Wilson. I don't know. That's a tough one. If you're telling me, I think linebackers you can get in the draft. I really do. But
well, we'll see what Debunking Clark can do.
If it's Donovan or LVE and we're not getting Wagner, I'll take LVE because he saved our bacon down the stretch. Leighton Van Der Esch, he did.
Yeah.
As much as I love Donovan, I think somebody's going to throw a lot of money at Donovan.
But we gotta have our other young linebackers on the team too, like Damone Clark and
Jabril Cox.
Yeah, I think that's going to open the door for Damone
and Jabril Cox.
Yeah, like sometimes you need opportunity where there's nobody breathing down your neck. You know what I mean?
Well, he needs. I mean, the fact that he played at all last year was a surprise with having a fused back and no training camp. So maybe he'll be able to step up.
Jabril's going to be much, people. I'm just telling you now. I just don't see it. I don't see.
He was a second round pick, right?
Impactful.
Was Jabril a second?
Cox?
Or was he a third?
I think he was a
no. Yeah, no. He slipped down to the fourth, but You know.
Oh wait, because he had that injury. That's why he slipped.
Yeah, he slipped, and I remember seeing him in the second, and I'll take him, and they didn't, and then I saw him again in the third, take him, they did. It was either our second, third, or fourth. I can't remember.
Game time. I don't care what nobody say. I think Cox pissed somebody off down in Dallas.
Really?
That's what I'm thinking. He done pissed somebody off down now.
He's just not getting the opportunities.
Either he done pissed somebody off down there, or he done laid up with some coach's daughter down there.
Oh man, come on.
Something done happened down there, man.
He pulled a Boston Celtics coach, man. He's hooking up with the owner's wife or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Too,
Remember
one
that?
of our young wide receivers, Jalen Tolbert, he hasn't really got any opportunities to show what he can do. And some of our own fan base say, "Oh, this guy's a bust." It's like, wait a minute, hold up a minute.
Yeah, you can't say he's a bust.
You can't call him a bust when he hasn't really been given the opportunity.
Yeah, it
That's
seems
coaching,
like
man.
I think it comes. Yeah, exactly. I think it comes down to Kellen Moore liking his guys to a fault. Where okay, I understand you like your guys, and I don't mean to hammer Noah Brown, because for what Noah Brown is, man, and where he came from, he's done great. But I'm going to hammer Noah Brown. He needs to take a seat, man, and if we got a 6'4" guy who can run a 4.4 in Simi Fehoko, why isn't he on the field? You know, and if he's not good enough to get on the field, then you got to go, bro. This is the NFL. This is an NFL roster. You know, there's not like a lot of spots for you unless you're like some special teams ace. We don't have all these spots just to hold you because you look good holding, you know, like on the sideline. Now everybody has to contribute. You know, it's like, man, this guy has a lot of tools. Why isn't he getting a run? We're running out Noah Brown yet again. You know, Noah Brown can't. I understand he had that one game where he had an awesome play. But I could name half a dozen games where he didn't do good.
Jacksonville.
So those are the type of things that just very much frustrate me. And we got to make decisions on Noah Brown, Jabril Cox. And you could rattle them on. You guys are better at pulling the names out. But all those young guys that haven't played, that are taking up roster spots, it's time to crap or get off the pot, basically.
You got that shit right.
You know? Exactly.
And then also, too, you know, DeMarcus Lawrence, ever since he got paid, he really hasn't been doing much at all.
Yeah, my partner's really down on D-Law. I love D-Law. I think he always seems to come through when we need him. But, you know, he's one of the – I agree with you. If you look solely at his numbers, I would say he didn't live up to the money, but I think he brings more to the table than numbers. You know, I'm a D-Law guy. He's a nasty player, and he plays the run great. He can get to the quarterback.
There is one guy from Bowling Green that's an edge rusher. I forgot his name, but that guy's a monster. It's like I'm hoping
I keep doing mock drafts, and he keeps being there in the second and third round. I saw the guy's name. I can't think of it up. I could probably pull it up once. But I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, because I did a couple of mock drafts for myself too.
What's that?
And it's like, there's Darnell Washington. He's projected to go in the third, but the Cowboys might reach for him in the second.
He'll go in the second round.
Yeah, probably before we get a chance to get him on the second round.
Yeah. We would have to take him at 26 if we wanted him.
Unless we move back.
Well, I love that idea. Now we're going to the draft, so I don't want to move back, but I want to have a first round pick, but not necessarily. You know, it's like you drop down to the mid 30s and pick up another 3. I'm good there, man.
True, because
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to be getting ready to get out of here, so let's get our final thoughts, because we've been on here for an hour and a half bitching about Jerry Jones.
There'll be another offseason that we're going to bitch about the old man Jones.
Well, let's hope that we bitch all offseason and we end up being in the playoffs again. That would
That's right.
You know, maybe that happens. Is Randy still here?
No, I told him to hop back on, but he didn't get back to me.
Okay. All right. Well, final thoughts from everybody. Should we worry? Do we think anything's going to actually happen or change? Have we been fed a whole bunch of crap where, you know, we got a big move that's coming around. You know, we're looking at free agents. We're going to surround Dak Prescott with weapons. Anybody believe any of that?
No. I believe it when I see it.
Ooh.
I think that
leadership is to have
we're going to go out and get a receiver. Maybe not the top two that everybody here wants, but I think we're going to go and get somebody. Hopefully not a James Watts. But I think Jerry going to try to do something for it. But I don't know. I hope not Odell though.
You know, as we're going down the stretch here, you would think that the year that Dak Prescott got injured and we had Andy frickin' Dalton playing would be enough to make people say, you know what, we're actually lucky we have Dak Prescott. But somehow it doesn't. That we're constantly looking and saying, he's a bum. I take Derek Carr over him. And it's just like, are you serious?
If I was Dak, I'd want to go somewhere where I'm appreciated and stick it to the Cowboys. I would just get tired of it, man.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, to constantly be...
He can get money anywhere else.
Oh,
we act like we're the only one that's going to pay him.
Yeah.
If Dak wasn't
I agree with Roland's reviews. I agree when I see it. Look, y'all, don't y'all get tired of we're gonna get that person. Oh, Jerry said we're gonna. Don't y'all ever get tired of saying all this stuff because Jerry said, 2-3 days later, you end up being so heartbroken, you get pissed off, fight with another brother, all just because Jerry said just shit and it never happened. Don't y'all ever get tired of that? It's like dope, man. You're addicted to it to the point that it gets tiresome, and you get tired of it.
You're just so tired. I'm tired. Hate you tired. Oh boy.
But it's bad though. You get tired of Skeletor doing all this talking.
Skeletor.
But y'all know that everything he's saying is not gonna happen.
I'm hoping that, honestly.
Yeah.
Because he's talking some
serious doo-doo.
Yeah.
All right, good people. With that being said, I'm hungry. I could go fix something to eat here. And I appreciate everybody that's been here. Hopefully I didn't not acknowledge everybody that's in the chat and stuff, but we'll do better in the future. But I appreciate each and every one of you guys, as well as you ladies, for being here, and we'll keep up with the news and see. There's a lot of things that are going to happen between now and Tuesday. We've got Michael Irvin's tape has to be out by 5 o'clock on Tuesday. We've got the franchise tag, and that's running short. Tomorrow is already Monday. If we're going to use it on Tony Pollard, we got to use it right away, and as well as other teams making moves and stuff. So we'll see what we're going to see, and we'll keep you up to speed. I appreciate each and every one of you guys that are here. Make sure you hit the like